Welcome to How People Think, the hidden mechanics of the human mind and why we do what we do, written and published by Mindful Literary. This is not just a book, it's a guided journey through the most complex structure in the known universe, the human mind. We'll dive beneath the surface of your thoughts, peeling back the layers of illusion, programming, and emotion to reveal what truly drives us. Why do we act against our own interests? Why do facts rarely change opinions? Why does clarity feel so rare in a world flooded with information? This book doesn't give easy answers. It asks better questions. Questions that might disrupt what you think you know. Questions that might make you uncomfortable. But also questions that can open the door to self-awareness, clarity, and transformation. So get ready to think about thinking, to explore the invisible patterns that shape every decision, belief, and behavior, and to discover that the most powerful changes in life begin not with action, but with understanding. Let's begin. Introduction. Inside the mind's machinery. Why understanding thought is the key to understanding everything. Thought is the lens through which we view the world. It influences our emotions, decisions, and interactions with others. Every experience we have is first filtered through our thoughts, shaping how we interpret events and how we feel about them. This profound connection underlines the very nature of our humanity. From joy to sorrow, our responses are deeply tied to the patterns of our thinking. By recognizing this connection, we unlock the potential to transform our experiences. When we understand that our thoughts can shift our perception of reality, we begin to see the power we wield in shaping our own lives. By choosing to focus on empowering, positive thoughts, we can reframe our experiences, leading to a more fulfilling existence. Insights into how we think can shed light on various facets of life, from personal growth to relationships. For example, consider how self-talk influences our self-esteem. When we are aware of the dialogue that runs through our minds, we can challenge negative narratives and replace them with affirming ones. This shift not only improves our self-image, but also enhances our interactions with others, fostering deeper connections. Furthermore, understanding thought patterns can lead us to recognize cognitive biases that cloud our judgment, enabling us to make more rational decisions. In a world filled with misinformation, being mindful of our thought processes becomes even more critical. Embracing this understanding allows us to navigate complex social landscapes more effectively, making informed choices that align with our values and aspirations. Engaging with the nature of thought invites transformative change. It encourages us to pause and reflect on our internal dialogues, leading to greater awareness of our beliefs and motivations. By delving into the depths of our own minds, we equip ourselves with the tools to foster resilience and adaptability. As we cultivate this awareness, we not only enhance our own lives, but also become catalysts for positive change in the lives of those around us. By sharing these insights, we inspire others to embark on their own journeys of discovery. Remember, nurturing positive thoughts is a habit that can be developed, and it starts with the simple act of noticing and redirecting our thinking towards the positive. Thinking versus reacting versus knowing. Understanding the distinctions between thinking, reacting, and knowing is essential for navigating our daily lives. Thinking is a deliberate mental process where we analyze information, consider multiple perspectives, and weigh the consequences of our choices. It requires time and mental energy, allowing us to explore possibilities and create solutions. Reacting, on the other hand, is more instinctive and often automatic. It arises from our immediate emotional responses or ingrained habits. This mode can lead us to make snap decisions without fully processing the situation. Knowing represents a different level of engagement, one grounded in experience and awareness. It is the familiarity with concepts or truths gained through understanding and reflection, enabling us to respond with confidence and clarity when faced with challenges. Each mode serves a distinct purpose, yet the nuances in how we engage with them play a crucial role in shaping our behavior and judgments. The impact of these mental modes on decision-making and understanding is profound. When we think things through, we open ourselves up to new insights and alternatives, fostering creativity and long-term planning. Conversely, when we react, we might succumb to fear, anger, or other emotions that cloud our judgment, potentially leading to regrettable choices. Knowing brings a sense of assurance and certainty, as it allows us to draw from past experiences and lessons learned. This understanding can streamline decision-making, as it reduces uncertainty and equips us with the confidence to act decisively. Recognizing whether we are thinking, reacting, or knowing in any moment can empower us to shift gears, reinforcing our ability to make thoughtful choices even in emotionally charged situations. To cultivate a balanced approach to decision-making, it's beneficial to practice mindfulness. By becoming aware of our responses and thoughts, we can create a space between our emotions and our actions. This pause allows us to transition from reaction to thoughtful consideration, or even to tap into our deeper understanding. Engaging in conversations, journaling, or taking time for reflection can help reinforce the practice of thinking over simply reacting. The more adept we become at recognizing our mental modes, the more control we gain over our choices, transforming our everyday experiences into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. The invisible architecture of human perception. The way we interpret the world around us is deeply influenced by an invisible architecture, a complex framework of cognitive and sensory processes that guide our perception. This architecture includes numerous elements such as our biological makeup, sensory capabilities, and the unique wiring of our brains. Each person's mind acts like a filter, sifting through countless stimuli to create a coherent understanding of reality. In this intricate dance, our brains utilize past experiences, cultural background, and even emotional states to shape our perceptions. For example, the color red might evoke feelings of passion or danger, depending on one's experiences and associations with this color. These underlying structures are not merely passive, but actively engaged to help us make sense of our surroundings, enabling us to navigate our environment safely and efficiently. The role of context in perception cannot be overstated. Context acts as a lens through which we view our experiences, shaping our interpretations and responses. When we encounter a situation, our immediate environment, prior experiences, and the emotional states we find ourselves in influence how we perceive that moment. For instance, a person hearing laughter in a park will likely perceive it as joyful, whereas the same laughter heard during a serious conversation might be interpreted differently, maybe even as disrespectful. Our personal filters, shaped by our beliefs, values, and past experiences, add another layer to this complex process. These filters can skew our understanding, leading us to perceive things that align with our expectations while potentially ignoring contradictory evidence. Recognizing the power of context and personal filters can be transformative, leading us to pause and reassess our perceptions, opening up new avenues of understanding. In diving into the invisible architecture of perception, we come to realize that our interpretations of reality are not absolute, but are shaped by an intricate interplay of various factors. This understanding can empower us to be more mindful of our perceptions and how they may be colored by personal biases and contextual cues. Practicing this mindfulness allows us to engage more deeply with the world around us, fostering empathy and understanding in our interactions with others. When faced with unfamiliar situations or conflicting viewpoints, take a moment to consider the various influences on your perception. This simple act of reflection can be a powerful tool in navigating the complexities of human interaction and perception. Chapter 1: The Origins of Thought. Evolutionary Roots of Thinking, Survival, Problem-Solving, and Storytelling. Evolving in a world filled with dangers and opportunities, our ancestors faced challenges that required sharp cognitive abilities. This evolutionary journey led to the development of specific mental skills aimed at survival. Early humans had to quickly assess threats in their environment, strategize for hunting or foraging, and navigate complex social structures. Those who could think critically and problem-solve not only survived but thrived, passing on these advantageous traits to future generations. This adaptive pressure nurtured a brain capable of abstract thinking, allowing our ancestors to envision possibilities beyond immediate circumstances. Cognitive flexibility became essential, as adapting to varied environments required more than innate instincts. It demanded advanced reasoning and imaginative thought. Importantly, storytelling emerged as a pivotal aspect of this cognitive evolution. As humans began to communicate through rich narratives, storytelling served multiple purposes. It was a means to share information, teach survival skills, and build social bonds within groups. By weaving tales about past experiences, failures, and successes, early humans could prepare others for unknown dangers and guide them towards better decisions. These shared stories fostered community cohesion, reinforcing cultural norms and values, while also preserving knowledge across generations. The narratives became not just entertainment, but vital tools for teaching empathy, problem solving, and resilience, ensuring that wisdom was transferred through oral traditions. The interplay between survival needs and storytelling has profoundly shaped human development. Our ability to create and relate stories about our lives not only enhances personal identity, but also builds a shared understanding of the world. Every time we tell or listen to a story, we engage with complex cognitive processes that heighten our empathy, stimulate problem-solving skills, and nurture creativity. By recognizing the power of storytelling in our evolutionary past, we can harness its transformative potential in our everyday lives. Consider incorporating storytelling into your daily interactions, whether by sharing personal experiences or learning through others' narratives, as this practice strengthens connections and opens doors to collective wisdom. From instincts to abstraction, how the brain became a thinking machine. Humans began their journey in a world driven by basic instincts. Early ancestors relied heavily on their ability to react to immediate threats or opportunities. This instinctive behavior was crucial for survival, guiding decisions in a manner dictated by the environment. The brain was finely tuned for quick responses, governed by emotions and primitive urges. As societies evolved, so too did the complexities of life, pushing our ancestors to navigate scenarios that demanded more than simple instinctive reactions. The brain began to develop the capacity for reflection, allowing individuals to ponder their actions, learn from experiences, and transmit knowledge across generations. This progression laid the foundation for more advanced cognitive functions. With the emergence of language, social structures, and cultural practices, abstraction became a powerful tool for the human mind. This cognitive leap enabled people to think beyond the immediate realities of their lives. Concepts such as justice, love, and morality became part of the mental landscape. Through abstraction, humans could categorize their experiences, recognize patterns, and formulate strategies to tackle complex problems. This thinking process transformed the way individuals interacted with their world, allowing for the development of innovations and creating a shared narrative that extended beyond personal existence. Consequently, abstraction not only enhanced problem-solving skills, but also fostered collaboration and creativity across diverse communities. Understanding the evolution from instinct to abstraction sheds light on the immense potential of the human brain. Each individual has the capacity to harness this ability to think critically and creatively. Engaging in reflective practices, such as journaling or discussing ideas with others, can help cultivate abstract thought. These activities encourage self-awareness and foster deeper connections with the world around us, enabling us to navigate life with greater insight and purpose. Thought as the child of emotion. Emotion and thought exist in a constant, dynamic relationship, weaving together to shape our perceptions and actions. This interdependence is fundamental to understanding the way we experience life. Every thought we hold, every decision we make, is rooted in our emotional state. For instance, when we feel happy, our thoughts are often optimistic and expansive, allowing us to explore new ideas and possibilities. Conversely, when we are sad or anxious, our thought processes tend to narrow, leading us to focus on potential dangers or past regrets. This interplay suggests that emotions are not just fleeting feelings. They act as a guiding force, influencing our cognitive functions and steering our reasoning in various directions. As we navigate through our daily lives, it is important to recognize this connection, as it can help us manage our emotional responses and enhance our decision-making capabilities. Emotions serve as the foundation for our reasoning, often providing the fuel for logical thought. When we encounter challenges, our emotional responses can either propel us forward or hold us back. For instance, a sense of fear may prompt careful consideration before taking a risk, while confidence can spark innovative ideas. Each emotion carries with it a narrative that influences how we approach problems. The process of reasoning itself becomes an exercise in interpretation of our feelings. We assess situations not just with our intellect, but with our emotional insights. This means that when we engage with others, our empathy can enhance our understanding, allowing for richer communication and problem-solving. Engaging with our emotions, rather than suppressing them, brings depth to our thinking and equips us with the capacity to make more considered choices. By acknowledging emotion as the bedrock of thought, we can cultivate a more balanced approach to life, learning to harness emotional intelligence to drive clarity and purpose. The next time you find yourself in a dilemma, take a moment to pause and assess the emotions you are experiencing. Ask yourself how those feelings might be influencing your thoughts. By becoming aware of this connection, you can leverage your emotional insights to make decisions that resonate with your true self. This practice fosters greater self-awareness and empowers you to navigate life's complexities with grace and confidence. Chapter 2: The Illusion of Rationality. Why we think rationally, but don't. Many people believe they are consistently rational thinkers, able to make logical decisions based on evidence and reason. However, this perception is often built on misconceptions. Our minds are shaped by biases, emotions, and social influences that cloud our judgment. For instance, we tend to overestimate our ability to think logically, often ignoring the emotional components that sneak into our decision-making processes. We might tell ourselves we are being rational when, in reality, we are influenced by past experiences, desires, and even the opinions of those around us. This disconnect leads to a false sense of security in our rationality. When faced with complex decisions, the mechanisms of our brain often favor quick judgments and shortcuts rather than thorough analysis, reinforcing the illusion of rationality. Cognitive dissonance plays a crucial role in shaping our self-perception and can significantly impact our rational thinking. This psychological phenomenon describes the discomfort we feel when our beliefs clash with our actions or new information. To alleviate this discomfort, people often change their beliefs rather than their behaviors, leading to a distorted view of reality. For example, if someone believes smoking is harmful but continues to smoke, they might downplay the health risks or justify their habit by claiming it helps them relax. This internal conflict can foster a skewed self-identity, making us feel justified in choices that can be detrimental. The struggle between wanting to appear rational and the emotional realities we navigate can create a deceptive self-image, where we convince ourselves we are reasonable, even in the face of contradictory evidence. Recognizing these traps in our thinking is the first step toward transformative change. Challenging our beliefs, being open to new information, and seeking diverse perspectives can help us break free from the chains of cognitive dissonance. Engage in self-reflection by asking yourself what might be influencing your decisions and whether those influences are grounding your choices in reality or leading you astray. Embracing the complexity of our decision-making processes can turn the illusion of rationality into a more substantial understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Cognitive biases, heuristics, and the shortcuts of the brain. Cognitive biases are the mental shortcuts and tendencies that can significantly skew our decision-making processes. These biases often arise from our brain's attempt to simplify information. For instance, consider the confirmation bias, where we tend to favor information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs while disregarding opposing views. This bias can manifest in daily situations, such as when we choose news articles that align with our opinions, reinforcing our worldview rather than challenging it. Similarly, the anchoring bias influences our judgments based on initial information we encounter. If we see a high price first, future estimates may be skewed upwards, even if it doesn't represent the true value. These biases, while often subconscious, can keep us from making fully informed and balanced decisions, ultimately impacting areas of our lives, from personal relationships to financial choices. On the other hand, heuristics provide a useful framework for navigating complex problems with efficiency. These mental shortcuts allow us to make decisions quickly rather than processing every detail of a situation, which can be overwhelming. For instance, the availability heuristic leads us to evaluate the likelihood of events based on how quickly examples come to mind. If we've recently experienced a car accident, we may overestimate the frequency of such occurrences, leading us to drive more cautiously or even avoid it altogether. While heuristics often work well in everyday contexts, they can also lead to systematic errors. Recognizing when we rely on these shortcuts can help us to balance speed with accuracy in our decision-making processes. By understanding the role of heuristics, we find ways to navigate our cognitive landscape, allowing ourselves to embrace both quick assessments and deeper evaluations when necessary. Adopting a mindset of awareness towards cognitive biases and heuristics can empower us to make more intentional decisions. Keeping a journal to reflect on decision-making processes can be a transformative practice. By documenting your thoughts and choices, you can start to identify patterns influenced by biases. This reflective practice fosters greater self-awareness and can guide you toward making choices that align more closely with your values, rather than those shaped by unconscious shortcuts. The brain as a pattern recognition tool, not a truth detector. The human brain has evolved to prioritize patterns over pure truth. This tendency serves as a survival mechanism, allowing us to make quick decisions based on previous experiences rather than sifting through every detail. For instance, when we hear a rustling in the bushes, our brain automatically connects that sound to past experiences with predators. Instead of asking if it's true or false, it triggers a well-practiced response: to be cautious. This pattern recognition is essential for navigating our world, enabling us to find meaning in chaos. However, it can often lead us astray, as we may form conclusions based on incomplete or faulty patterns, mistaking correlations for causation. The brain's shortcuts help us function in a complex environment, but can also distort our perception of reality. This inclination to favor patterns implies that our understanding of reality is less about objective truth and more about subjective interpretation. Consider how two people can witness the same event and emerge with entirely different narratives. Each individual draws on their unique set of experiences, biases, and emotional responses, which then shapes their interpretation of the event. Such differences underscore the idea that our brains do not necessarily seek the truth, but instead seek coherence and familiarity. This perspective leads us to trust our intuition and gut feelings, even when they are misleading. Recognizing that our perceptions are influenced by our personal contexts can foster greater empathy and understanding toward others, as their interpretations are as intricate and valid as our own. Chapter 3: The Layers of Thought. Subconscious versus conscious versus metacognition. The human mind operates on multiple levels, encompassing a rich tapestry of thought processes that shape our realities. At the base level lies the subconscious mind, an intricate reservoir of thoughts, memories, and instincts that we often access without deliberate effort. This layer processes information that escapes our conscious awareness, influencing our emotions and behaviors in profound ways. For example, the subconscious is responsible for gut feelings and automatic responses, managing tasks like driving or typing without the need for active thought. This is where our habits are formed and deep-seated beliefs reside, often dictating how we respond to the world. In contrast, the conscious mind represents our immediate awareness, the thoughts we can articulate, analyze, and control. It is the layer where reasoning, problem-solving, and critical thinking occur, allowing us to engage with the world in a deliberate manner. The interplay between consciousness and the subconscious is fascinating and pivotal. Our conscious choices are frequently guided and even conflicted by subconscious patterns. Understanding this dynamic creates opportunities for personal growth and transformation. Metacognition, or thinking about thinking, takes this exploration further by introducing a layer of self-awareness that can significantly enhance our cognitive processes. It involves not only being conscious of our thoughts, but also understanding how we think, learn, and problem-solve. This awareness helps us recognize our strengths and limitations, allowing us to adjust our strategies when faced with challenges. When we practice metacognition, we can identify when we are struggling with a concept or task, leading us to seek help or adopt new approaches. It empowers us to monitor our understanding, making learning more effective and tailored to our needs. Imagine sitting down with a complex problem and being able to step back, evaluate your thought process, and determine if the strategy you are employing is working. That pause, that reflection, is the essence of metacognition and plays a crucial role in fostering resilience and adaptability in our lives. Embracing metacognition can be transformative. It encourages us to engage in self-reflection, making us better learners and decision-makers. We can cultivate this awareness by asking ourselves guiding questions about our thoughts and feelings. For instance, taking a moment to ask, "What do I know about this subject?" Or "How do I feel about this decision?" allows us to tap into our subconscious beliefs while consciously assessing our understanding. This practice can lead to a deeper level of insight, illuminating paths for growth and informed choices. By nurturing these skills, we can better navigate the complexities of life, making them more manageable and meaningful. Where beliefs live and how they control you without your awareness. Beliefs are often formed deep in the subconscious, like seeds planted in the soil of our minds during childhood. They are shaped by experiences, observations, and the messages we receive from family, society, and culture. Over time, these beliefs can grow without our conscious realization, becoming a part of our mental framework. For instance, if a child repeatedly hears that they are not good enough, this negative belief can take root in their subconscious. Later in life, even if they become successful, this belief may surface in the form of self-doubt or anxiety, subtly influencing their actions and choices. Beliefs function like an internal compass, guiding us towards certain behaviors and away from others, often without us being aware of their impact. This is why understanding where these beliefs originate is crucial in unraveling the threads that dictate much of our lives. The power of hidden beliefs over behavior is profound and often underestimated. These beliefs operate in the background, affecting our decisions, responses, and interactions with others. Take, for example, the belief that confrontation is dangerous. If someone internalizes this belief, they might avoid necessary discussions in both personal and professional settings, leading to unresolved conflicts or missed opportunities. Such patterns become ingrained and can create a cycle where the belief reinforces itself, making it increasingly difficult to break free. Many people navigate their lives under the influence of these invisible puppeteers, unaware of how their history and the beliefs they carry shape their present actions. This realization can be a turning point. By bringing these hidden beliefs to light, we can begin to question and challenge them, ultimately leading to transformative change. Recognizing that beliefs are largely formed in the subconscious opens the door to personal empowerment. Becoming aware of the beliefs that inform our choices allows us to examine their validity and impact. It's a process that involves honest self-reflection and a willingness to explore uncomfortable truths. Journaling, therapy, and mindfulness practices can all aid in identifying and confronting these beliefs. For instance, when a self-limiting belief is acknowledged, it can be examined and reframed. A belief that failure is unacceptable can be transformed into failure is a part of learning. This shift not only alleviates pressure, but also opens up new paths for personal and professional growth. The journey toward understanding and transforming beliefs requires patience and courage, but the rewards are a more authentic life aligned with one's true potential. The iceberg model of the mind. The iceberg model of the mind illustrates the vast unseen influences of our mental processes. Just like an iceberg, where a mere fraction is visible above the waterline, much of our thinking, emotions, and motivations lie beneath the surface. This submerged portion is often made up of our beliefs, values, and past experiences which we may not consciously acknowledge. These hidden elements shape our perceptions and reactions, guiding us in ways we might not realize. For example, when we encounter a stressful situation, it's not just the event itself that triggers our response, but also our ingrained beliefs about how we should react, which are often rooted in our past. Recognizing the complexities of this hidden realm can help us understand why we think and act the way we do, opening the door to greater self-awareness and growth. Emphasizing the importance of acknowledging the hidden aspects of thought can lead to transformative change in our lives. When we bring our subconscious beliefs into conscious awareness, we give ourselves the ability to rethink and reshape our responses to various situations. This process of introspection helps us identify patterns in our behavior that may no longer serve us, such as fear of failure or reluctance to express ourselves. It encourages a deeper understanding of our triggers, allowing us to respond to conflicts or challenges with clarity rather than automatic reactions. By exploring the unseen forces within our minds, we empower ourselves to create the lives we genuinely desire, forging connections with others that are rooted in authenticity and understanding. Paying attention to these hidden influences can transform not only individual lives, but also the relationships we build with those around us. To tap into the power of the iceberg model, practice mindfulness and self-reflection regularly. This can involve journaling your thoughts, engaging in meditation, or simply taking quiet moments to contemplate your feelings and reactions. By doing so, you pierce through the surface and gain insights into the deeper layers of your mind, making it easier to navigate life's challenges with intention and purpose. Chapter 4. Thinking is emotional. How emotions drive decisions more than logic. Emotions play an incredibly dominant role in our decision-making processes. When faced with choices, our feelings often take the lead, guiding us in ways that logic sometimes cannot. For instance, when we experience love or joy, These emotions can inspire us to take bold risks, invest time, or even change our life paths entirely. Conversely, fear or anxiety can make us retreat, discouraging us from taking opportunities that might have led to growth or success. This emotional influence is not just a matter of preference. It's woven into the very fabric of our neural pathways. Research in psychology shows that our brain's emotional centers often jump into action before our logical reasoning has a chance to engage, leading to impulsive actions driven by feelings rather than rational thought. However, the intense nature of our emotional states can sometimes cloud our judgment. When anger, sadness, or stress takes over, our decision-making can become impaired. For example, someone who just experienced a heartbreak may make choices that they wouldn't typically consider, such as engaging in self-destructive behaviors or rushing into new relationships merely to escape their pain. In these moments, logical reasoning gets sidelined, and the immediate emotional state dominates the scenario. It's fascinating how the brain prioritizes the short-term relief of emotional turmoil over the long-term benefits of considered decision-making. This highlights a crucial aspect of our humanity. Our emotions, often viewed as weaknesses, actually act as powerful motivators that can help or hinder our choices. Understanding the interplay between emotions and logic can be transformative. One practical tip is to take a moment to recognize your emotional state before making significant decisions. Ask yourself how you feel and consider whether that emotion aligns with the choice you are about to make. By creating a space for self-reflection, you can better navigate your emotional landscape, allowing for more balanced decision-making that incorporates both feelings and logic. This practice can prevent hasty decisions driven solely by emotion, enabling you to make choices that are more aligned with your true values and long-term goals. The role of emotional memory in shaping thoughts. Emotional memories play a crucial role in shaping our current thinking. These memories are not just recollections of events. They are intertwined with our feelings, creating a complex web that influences our perceptions and decisions. When we encounter situations that trigger similar emotions, our mind often recalls past experiences, impacting how we respond. For instance, someone who had a painful breakup may approach new relationships with suspicion or anxiety, fearing the possibility of another heartbreak. In this way, emotional memories serve as a lens through which we view the world, affecting our judgments and interactions. Each emotional experience carves pathways in our brain, making related thoughts more accessible, which can mean a mix of both protective and limiting beliefs based on these past encounters. The lasting impact of significant emotional experiences can be profound. Certain memories can resonate within us for years, shaping not only how we think, but also our overall identity. An individual who experienced immense joy during a pivotal moment in life may carry that feeling forward, using it as motivation in both personal and professional realms. Conversely, traumatic events can lead to persistent thoughts of fear or inadequacy. This dual-edged nature of emotional memory can be transformative. It can inspire growth or stagnation, depending on how we choose to integrate these memories into our lives. Understanding that our emotional experiences are not just isolated events, but building blocks of our current self can empower us. It allows for the possibility of reframing negative memories and cultivating a mindset that embraces growth instead of fear. To navigate the influence of emotional memory effectively, it can be beneficial to practice mindfulness. Engaging in reflective exercises, such as journaling about significant emotional experiences and their impact on current feelings and thoughts, can illuminate patterns. By identifying how past emotions shape present beliefs, we can take control of our mental landscape and intentionally cultivate a healthier thought process. This approach can lead to insights that enable us to respond to new situations with more clarity and less bias from past emotions, ultimately leading to more fulfilling experiences. Emotional contagion and the group mind. Emotions have a remarkable way of spreading among people in social groups. When one person expresses joy, sadness, anxiety, or anger, others can quickly catch these feelings, much like a contagious disease. This phenomenon is known as emotional contagion. Picture a crowded room filled with laughter. It's hard not to smile or feel a sense of joy yourself. Similarly, in a tense meeting where one person displays frustration, that tension can ripple through the entire group, affecting everyone's mood and behavior. Research suggests that our brains are wired to mirror the emotions of those around us, allowing us to empathize and connect deeply with others. This shared emotional experience can create a powerful collective atmosphere that influences the entire group dynamic. The collective influence of emotional states can significantly shape group behavior. When a group shares a common emotional experience, it can lead to a stronger sense of unity and purpose. For instance, during moments of collective joy, like festivals or celebrations, people often feel a heightened sense of connection and engagement. This can lead to cooperative behavior and solidarity, allowing the group to work harmoniously toward common goals. Conversely, when negative emotions dominate, such as fear or anger, the group may become fragmented and reactive. This can lead to conflict, decreased collaboration, and a breakdown in communication. Understanding these dynamics highlights the critical role our emotions play not only on an individual level, but also in shaping the collective behavior of groups. Awareness of emotional contagion can empower individuals to foster positive environments and encourage emotional resilience within teams. To harness the power of emotional contagion positively, consider being mindful of your emotional state in group settings. Your emotions can influence those around you profoundly, whether in a family gathering, a workplace, or a social event. By consciously cultivating positive emotions, such as gratitude or optimism, you can contribute to a more uplifting atmosphere. Engage in practices that promote positive emotions, like sharing encouraging words, practicing active listening, or simply smiling genuinely. These small efforts can initiate a ripple effect, transforming the emotional landscape of the entire group and encouraging a culture of support and positivity. Chapter 5: Social Thinking: How Other People Think for You. Social Conditioning and Conformity. Societal influences significantly shape our thoughts and behaviors through a complex web of expectations, norms, and cultural narratives. From the moment we are born, we are surrounded by family, peers, and media that subtly mold our perceptions of right and wrong, desirable and undesirable. This conditioning happens so gradually that many individuals are unaware of its powerful effects. For instance, children learn what is acceptable or unacceptable based on their experiences, such as how to express emotions or interact with others. Over time, these lessons crystallize into beliefs and attitudes that define not only how we see ourselves, but also how we perceive the world around us. As we grow older, the pressures to conform become more pronounced. Society imposes certain expectations that often lead individuals to alter their behaviors to fit in with a group. This can be seen in various contexts, such as schools, workplaces, and social settings, where the desire to belong can push someone to suppress their true selves. The fear of judgment or exclusion becomes a powerful motivator, prompting people to adopt the norms and values of those around them. Conformity can manifest in harmless ways, like dressing a certain way or using specific slang, but it also has deeper implications, such as the potential to stifle creativity and individuality. The psychological impact of conforming to social standards can be profound, leading to internal conflicts where personal identity clashes with societal expectations. Understanding social conditioning and conformity allows individuals to critically evaluate their own behaviors. By recognizing these influences, people can begin to distinguish between what is genuinely important to them and what has been imposed by external forces. Engaging in open conversations about beliefs and biases can foster a sense of awareness that leads to transformative personal growth. One practical way to start this journey is to periodically reflect on your choices and ask yourself why you make them. Are these decisions aligned with your values, or are they primarily influenced by those around you? This reflective practice can empower you to reclaim your individuality while navigating the complexities of social expectations. Mirror neurons and the herd effect. Research into mirror neurons has shed light on the biological basis for empathy and imitation. These specialized brain cells fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform that same action. This mirroring effect is crucial for understanding and sharing emotions, allowing us to connect with others on a profound level. For instance, when we witness someone experiencing joy or pain, our mirror neurons activate similarly, prompting an emotional response that can foster empathy. This not only aids interpersonal relationships, but also helps in learning social behaviors through imitation. The implications of such mechanisms extend beyond individual interactions, influencing our social environments and group dynamics. The concept of herd behavior stems from our innate tendencies shaped by these biological mechanisms. When we observe a majority acting in a certain way, our mirror neurons can encourage similar actions, often subconsciously. This can lead to a sense of comfort in conformity, affecting decision-making processes within groups. The herd effect suggests that in situations of uncertainty, people are prone to follow the crowd rather than rely solely on personal judgment. This is evident in various contexts, from financial markets responding to trends to societal movements rapidly gaining traction. Understanding how empathy and imitation function through the lens of mirror neurons provides insight into our collective behavior, highlighting how deeply interconnected we are as social beings. Recognizing the power of mirror neurons invites reflection on how we influence and are influenced by those around us. A practical way to navigate this interconnectedness is to be mindful of the environments and social circles we engage with. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences can not only enhance our emotional well-being, but also encourage healthier decision-making processes in both our personal and professional lives. By becoming aware of the herd effect and our biological tendencies, we can make more informed choices that align better with our values and aspirations. The false self we build to survive society. The concept of the false self represents a necessary adaptation to the complex webs of social interaction that surround us. In many ways, this false self acts as a protective layer, a shield developed in response to societal expectations and norms that often feel heavy and stifling. People learn to present a version of themselves that they believe is more acceptable or appealing to those around them. This can manifest in various ways, such as altering opinions, adopting certain behaviors, or wearing a mask that aligns with societal standards of success, beauty, or intellect. The false self becomes intricately woven into our daily lives, where we might prioritize others' perceptions over our own authenticity, leading us to constantly curate our identity based on external validation. In social contexts, this can create a disconnect between who we genuinely are and the image we project, fostering a sense of estrangement from our own core selves. Maintaining this facade can take a significant psychological toll. Constantly performing as a version of ourselves that is not entirely genuine can lead to an exhausting cycle of anxiety and self-doubt. This internal conflict can fuel feelings of inadequacy and a fear of exposure. What happens if the real self is revealed? The burden of sustaining a false self can strip away joy, creativity, and the ability to engage authentically with others. Over time, individuals might experience a profound sense of emptiness, feeling disconnected not only from others, but also from their inner selves. This is not simply a matter of discomfort. There can be serious emotional ramifications, including depression, chronic stress, and a pervasive sense of isolation. The true self gets buried under layers of expectation, leading to a life that feels less lived and more performed. To navigate these intricate challenges, it becomes crucial to create spaces for authenticity in our lives. Self-reflection, journaling, or engaging in therapy can provide valuable pathways to uncover and embrace the true self hidden beneath the constructed layers. By cultivating self-awareness and embracing vulnerability, individuals can begin to dismantle the false self and build a more genuine connection to their inner identity. As we challenge the norms that dictate how we should present ourselves, we can start to honor our true feelings and desires, leading to richer, more fulfilling experiences. Remember, the journey toward authenticity is transformative and can lead to a more empowered and liberated existence without the weight of a facade. Chapter 6. The Scripts We Follow. Mental Models, Internal Narratives, and Identity Loops. Mental models are the frameworks through which we interpret the world around us. They serve as internal maps, guiding our thoughts, decisions, and actions based on our past experiences and knowledge. These models are significant because they not only shape how we perceive situations, but also influence how we interact with others and respond to challenges. For instance, if someone has a mental model that views the world as a competitive environment, they may approach their relationships and career with a mindset that prioritizes winning over collaboration. Conversely, an individual who perceives the world as collaborative may foster connections and seek partnerships, leading to a more integrated approach in both their personal and professional life. Understanding our mental models is essential for personal growth. Recognizing how they limit or enhance our perspectives allows us to make more informed choices and adapt our thinking in beneficial ways. Internal narratives are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what we are capable of, and what we deserve. These narratives significantly influence our personal identity, shaping our self-esteem, confidence, and overall sense of belonging. For example, someone who has internalized a narrative of failure might avoid taking risks or pursuing opportunities out of fear or insecurity. On the other hand, an individual who holds a story of resilience and growth may embrace challenges as opportunities for learning and development. The power of internal narratives lies in their ability to reinforce or challenge our beliefs about ourselves. By actively reflecting on these narratives, we can identify toxic self-talk and replace it with empowering stories that promote a healthier identity. This shift doesn't just change how we view ourselves. It can also fundamentally alter our interactions with the world and the paths we choose to pursue. Recognizing the interplay between mental models and internal narratives can lead to a deeper understanding of our identity loops, the cycles of thinking and behaving that define us. Our mental models condition our internal narratives, which in turn reinforce our identities. When we alter a mental model, we open ourselves up to new narratives, creating a fertile ground for transformation. For instance, if we replace a limiting belief with a more constructive one, we break free from a self-imposed identity loop that has held us back. Practical steps to initiate this change include journaling about our thoughts and feelings, seeking feedback from trusted friends or mentors, and consciously choosing to challenge negative narratives. By doing so, we create a more adaptable and resilient self-identity, capable of welcoming growth and embracing change. Thought habits pass down from culture, family, and institutions. Thought patterns are not just personal quirks or eccentricities. They are often the carefully woven fabric of our cultural, familial, and institutional backgrounds. Each generation passes down its own blend of beliefs, values, and assumptions, shaping how we interpret the world around us. These thought habits can be seen as echoes of the past, reverberating through time as we absorb the teachings and experiences of those who come before us. When we think about how our grandparents approached challenges, or how our parents reacted to societal shifts, we can often trace the roots of our current beliefs. This transmission occurs not merely through direct conversation, but also through actions, traditions, and even silences. The ways our families react to success and failure, their political views, religious beliefs, and attitudes toward education are woven into our perception, subtly guiding our responses and decisions long after the original context has faded. Cultural conditioning serves as both a lens and a roadmap for individual thinking. It frames our worldview and dictates what we consider normal or acceptable. For instance, in cultures where collectivism reigns supreme, individuals often prioritize group harmony over personal goals, leading to thought habits focused on compromise and consensus. Conversely, in more individualistic cultures, there is frequently a strong push towards self-assertion and independence. These ingrained habits can create a comfort zone, making it challenging to explore alternative perspectives. Psychological studies suggest that familiarity breeds not just comfort, but also cognitive biases, which can cloud our judgment and diminish our ability to engage with diverse viewpoints. When facing dilemmas, individuals may unconsciously lean towards solutions that mirror the thinking patterns dictated by their upbringing or cultural background, often overlooking innovative solutions that diverge from those norms. Reflecting on these influences can be a transformative experience. By understanding how our thought habits have been shaped, we can begin to unearth beliefs that no longer serve us. This awareness opens the door to conscious change, allowing us to cultivate new perspectives that align better with our current realities. A useful practice is to regularly question your own thought processes. Where do they come from? Are they still relevant? Engaging with your thought habits through journaling or discussions with diverse groups can provide invaluable insights into the ways culture and upbringing have colored your thinking. This understanding not only fosters personal growth, but it also enhances our capacity for empathy towards others, as we recognize that their viewpoints are shaped by their own unique experiences and histories. The psychology of self-sabotage and learned helplessness. Self-sabotaging behaviors often have deep roots in our experiences, particularly in childhood. These behaviors can emerge as a reaction to past trauma, negative reinforcement, or a lack of positive role models. When individuals encounter obstacles, they might unconsciously replicate old patterns, believing that success is not meant for them. This belief can stem from earlier experiences where they learned that taking risks often led to disappointment or pain. As children, If they were met with criticism or indifference, they learned to internalize the message that their efforts wouldn't lead to positive outcomes. This creates a cycle where the fear of failure becomes so overwhelming that they would rather not try at all, leading to procrastination or self-defeating actions that confirm their beliefs about their inadequacy. Learned helplessness is a psychological state where individuals feel powerless to change their circumstances, often due to past experiences of defeat or loss. This state significantly impacts motivation, as people may begin to believe their efforts are pointless. When consistently faced with uncontrollable situations, they stop trying, feeling that regardless of what they do, the outcome will be the same, failure. This can manifest in different areas of life, from personal relationships to workplace dynamics, creating a vicious cycle where the lack of motivation reinforces the sense of helplessness. Breaking out of this cycle requires self-awareness and the understanding that change is possible. Recognizing that past failures don't dictate future outcomes is crucial. Enduring success often comes down to resilience, the ability to bounce back after setbacks, learn from experiences, and maintain the drive to pursue goals despite difficulties. Merging the concepts of self-sabotage and learned helplessness reveals how deeply intertwined our beliefs about ourselves can be with our behaviors. For instance, someone may sabotage their efforts out of a fear of failure rooted in learned helplessness, believing they are unable to overcome challenges. To work toward transformation, it becomes essential to address these underlying beliefs. Cognitive behavioral techniques, such as reframing negative thoughts and challenging unhelpful beliefs, can be particularly effective. Building a supportive environment conducive to growth and self-discovery can also facilitate change. Start by identifying small, achievable goals. Progress in these areas can foster a sense of competence and empowerment, gradually breaking down the barriers of self-sabotage and learned helplessness. Remember, recognizing the patterns is the first step in overcoming them, allowing you to reclaim your power and chart a new path forward. Chapter 7. Thinking in Traps. Common mental traps: black and white thinking, catastrophizing, projection. Mental traps often distort our perception of reality, shaping the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Black and white thinking, for instance, reduces complex situations into two rigid categories: right or wrong, success or failure. This binary view narrows our understanding and can lead to harsh self-criticism or unrealistic expectations. Catastrophizing is another prevalent trap that spirals us into a vortex of anxiety, where we predict the worst possible outcomes of a situation. This anticipatory dread not only skews our perception, but often causes us to avoid actions that could be beneficial. Lastly, projection involves attributing our own feelings and insecurities onto others, which can skew interpersonal relationships and lead to misunderstandings. Such traps distort our reality, hindering our ability to see the nuances of life. The limitations imposed by these mental traps significantly restrict our capacity for creative problem-solving. When we think in black and white terms, we overlook alternative solutions that might lie in the gray areas of potential outcomes. This rigidity can stifle innovation and prevent us from seeing new opportunities. If catastrophe lurks in our minds, we may freeze in our tracks, unable to take risks that might lead to growth or success. Consequently, the fear of failure often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where the anticipation of disaster preempts us from even trying. Furthermore, when we project our insecurities onto others, we become blinded to constructive feedback or collaboration, alienating ourselves and reinforcing feelings of isolation. Creative problem-solving thrives in environments where explorative thinking and openness to diverse perspectives flourish, making these mental traps significant barriers in our paths. Being aware of these mental traps is the first step towards overcoming them. Testing our thoughts against reality can help us break free from black and white thinking. Instead of labeling outcomes as entirely good or bad, we can develop a more nuanced understanding of our experiences. Challenging catastrophic thoughts with evidence-based outcomes can alleviate unnecessary anxiety. Finally, practicing empathy and seeking clarity in our perceptions of others can reduce projection and improve our relationships. This reflective process not only transforms our thinking patterns, but also opens pathways to creative solutions and richer, more fulfilling interactions with the world around us. Anxiety loops and the mind as its own jailer. Anxiety can often entrap us in a vicious cycle of negative thoughts. When faced with stressors, our minds tend to magnify worries, creating a loop that reinforces our fears. For instance, when a person experiences anxiety about an upcoming presentation, they might begin to replay negative scenarios in their mind, such as forgetting their points or being judged unfavorably by their peers. This internal dialogue can become a habitual pattern, leading to heightened anxiety, which in turn fuels more negative thinking. Each anxious thought serves to validate the fear, making it seem more plausible. Over time, individuals can feel as though they are prisoners in their own minds, unable to escape these recurring thoughts. They might become hyper-aware of their physical symptoms, like a racing heart or shallow breathing, interpreting these as signs of impending disaster. This self-perpetuating cycle not only maintains anxiety, but also distorts reality, making challenges appear insurmountable and thus debilitating. Understanding this loop is crucial for anyone who feels trapped by their thoughts. Recognizing how these patterns unfold is the first step toward breaking free. To dismantle these mental constraints, various techniques can be effective. Awareness is the first strategy. Acknowledging when negative thought patterns emerge allows individuals to confront them rather than succumb to them. Mindfulness practices, such as guided meditation or deep breathing exercises, can help ground a person in the present moment, offering a reprieve from spiraling anxiety. Engaging in cognitive behavioral therapy can also reshape the mind's landscape. This approach encourages individuals to challenge and reframe their flawed thinking. It allows for the exploration of underlying beliefs that fuel anxiety, gradually shifting perspectives from what might go wrong to a more balanced view of potential outcomes. Additionally, seeking social support can break the prison of isolation anxiety creates. Sharing feelings with trusted friends or family can provide new insights and diminish the weight of fear. These strategies, awareness, mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and connection, are powerful tools that enable individuals to reclaim their mental freedom. Embracing these methods allows for transformation from a state of dread to one of possibility. Recognizing that the mind can become its own jailer is a crucial insight, and implementing small but significant changes can begin to alter this prison of thought. One practical tip is to keep a journal, writing down anxious thoughts, and then challenging them with evidence of contrary experiences. This practice helps to externalize fears, making them easier to examine and dissect. By actively challenging distorted thinking, one can take the first steps toward untangling the web of anxiety that binds them. Each time we identify and confront these loops, we step closer to liberation. Remember that breaking free is a process. Be patient and kind to yourself as you navigate this journey toward clarity and peace. How stress rewires cognition and perception. Stress can have a profound impact on cognitive functions, altering the way we think and process information. When faced with stress, our bodies release hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which prepare us for fight or flight situations. This hormonal surge can enhance certain types of thinking, like quick decision-making when facing immediate danger. However, it can also inhibit higher-order cognitive functions, such as reasoning, problem-solving, and memory consolidation. Under acute stress, the brain often prioritizes immediate threats over long-term goals, impacting attention span and reducing our ability to think critically. This reconfiguration of mental processes can make it difficult to focus, remember important details, and even maintain a coherent train of thought. This cognitive shift is a protective mechanism meant to keep us safe, but it often hampers our ability to function effectively in everyday life. The effects of chronic stress extend far beyond short bursts of pressure. When stress becomes a constant presence, it leads to persistent changes in how we perceive the world around us. Chronic stress can distort our thoughts, making us more prone to negativity and anxiety. Over time, individuals experiencing chronic stress may find their perspectives narrow, focusing largely on perceived threats and problems. This altered perception can lead to a glass-half-empty mentality, influencing how we respond to situations and relationships. Thoughts become less flexible as stress primes the brain for rigid patterns of thinking, further entrenching us in cycles of worry and self-doubt. The longer this persists, the more ingrained these changes become, affecting our overall mental health and well-being. Being mindful of the effects of stress on cognition and perception can help us take steps toward better mental health. One practical tip is to incorporate mindfulness practices into your daily routine. Mindfulness can help reset your brain's responses to stress, allowing for more positive thought patterns and improved clarity of mind. Engaging in activities like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or even short walks can provide much-needed breaks. These practices encourage your mind to pause, reflecting a moment before reacting. By creating a buffer between stress and our response to it, we can gradually retrain our cognitive patterns and perceptions, paving the way towards a healthier, more balanced outlook on life. Chapter 8. The Ego's Role in Thought. Ego is both mask and map. The ego plays a crucial role in shaping our self-identity. It acts as a lens through which we interpret our experiences, influencing how we see ourselves and how we believe others see us. When we introduce ourselves, our ego is often at the forefront, crafting a narrative that highlights our achievements and downplays our insecurities. This crafted image serves as a protective mask, shielding our vulnerabilities and presenting a version of ourselves that we think will be accepted and admired. However, this mask can sometimes distort our true self, leading to a disconnect between how we perceive ourselves and how we are ultimately influencing our interactions with others. It may create barriers in relationships when we prioritize the facade over authenticity, making genuine connections more difficult. Understanding this dynamic is essential as it prompts us to evaluate whether we are navigating life through the lens of fear and ego-driven defense or allowing our most authentic selves to shine through. The ego also serves as a map, guiding us through the complexities of the world around us. It helps us navigate social landscapes, informing our decisions and reactions based on past experiences and learned behaviors. In this way, the ego offers a framework through which we interpret social cues, determine our roles within various contexts, and establish our place in the grander scheme of life. This dual role of the ego can be empowering. It equips us with the ability to adapt our behaviors to different environments, ensuring that we can confidently thrive in diverse situations. Yet, relying too heavily on this map can lead to rigidity, stifling our ability to grow and adapt beyond the confines of our established self-image. By recognizing that our ego, though helpful, is not the entirety of our identity, we can learn to navigate the world more fluidly, allowing for personal growth and deeper connections with others. A key takeaway is the importance of balancing the protective nature of the ego with the need for authenticity. By becoming aware of the masks we wear and the maps we follow, we can consciously choose to remove the unnecessary layers that obscure our true selves. Engage in self-reflection and practice vulnerability in safe spaces to reinforce genuine connections. Allowing ourselves to be seen without the trappings of the ego can lead to profound transformations, not just for ourselves, but for the relationships we cultivate and the lives we influence. How the ego distorts truth to protect itself. The ego thrives on a fragile sense of self, often crafting illusions that warp our perception of truth. It creates cognitive distortions that are like tinted glasses, altering how we interpret events, opinions, and experiences. For example, when we find ourselves in conflict, the ego can twist reality, leading us to blame others instead of accepting our own shortcomings. This mechanism is known as projection, which allows us to deflect our insecurities onto those around us. Likewise, another common distortion is the tendency to overgeneralize. A single failure can become proof of perpetual inadequacy in the ego's eyes. These cognitive distortions not only color our self-image, but also constrain our ability to connect authentically with others. The more we cling to these distorted views, the more difficult it becomes to see the world clearly, trapped in a cycle of self-deception. The consequences of ego-driven thinking are profound and far-reaching. When we allow the ego to dominate our thoughts, we run the risk of alienating ourselves from those we care about. Relationships often suffer because the ego prioritizes self-preservation over genuine connection. For instance, when faced with criticism, an individual guided by ego might respond defensively, dismissing the feedback instead of using it as an opportunity for growth. This can lead to a stagnation in personal development and create rifts in our relationships. Additionally, the ego can foster an environment of competition rather than collaboration, as it constantly seeks affirmation and superiority over others. This unhealthy mindset can lead to feelings of isolation, dissatisfaction, and even mental health struggles. Recognizing these ego-driven patterns is vital to breaking free from their limits and inviting a more truthful, compassionate understanding of ourselves and the world. To cultivate a more accurate view of ourselves and our interactions, practice mindfulness. This can be as simple as pausing and reflecting on your thoughts before reacting. Ask yourself if what you're feeling is a distortion created by your ego. By questioning these perceptions, you create space for genuine insight and connection. This simple habit can gradually help you shift from a defensive posture to one of openness, enriching your understanding of both yourself and others. Defense mechanisms and the stories we tell ourselves. Defense mechanisms are psychological strategies that help us cope with anxiety and maintain our sense of self. They often operate unconsciously, allowing us to navigate the complexities of our emotions without feeling overwhelmed. Common defense mechanisms include denial, projection, repression, and rationalization. For instance, denial involves refusing to accept reality, while projection means attributing one's own undesirable feelings to someone else. Repression entails pushing distressing thoughts out of conscious awareness, and rationalization involves justifying actions or feelings with logical reasons rather than acknowledging the true underlying motivations. Each of these mechanisms serves a purpose, helping us protect ourselves from emotional pain and maintain stability in our lives. While they can offer a temporary shield from discomfort, heavy reliance on these defenses can distort our perceptions and relationships, leading to patterns that may not serve us in the long term. The stories we tell ourselves are intricately woven with the defense mechanisms we employ. These narratives shape our identities and influence how we view the world and our place in it. For example, someone who uses rationalization frequently might tell themselves a story that justifies unhealthy habits or unhealthy relationships, allowing them to avoid confronting deeper issues. Similarly, an individual who often employs repression may have difficulty recalling past events or emotions, leading to a fragmented understanding of their life story. As we construct these personal narratives, our defense mechanisms can create a lens through which we interpret experiences, often skewing reality to align with our internal need for safety and acceptance. Recognizing how these mechanisms inform our stories can be transformative, allowing us to rewrite aspects of our lives. By exploring the motivations behind our defense mechanisms and how they affect our self-narratives, we gain insight into our behaviors and relationships, opening the door to growth and healing. Understanding our defense mechanisms and the narratives they help to shape provides a valuable opportunity for self-reflection and transformation. One practical step is to journal about your thoughts and feelings, paying attention to any patterns that emerge. Ask yourself if you are using any defense mechanisms when you recount your experiences. Are you rationalizing a decision that feels wrong deep down? Are you avoiding uncomfortable emotions through denial? By identifying these tendencies, you can start to challenge the stories you tell yourself. Reframing your narratives with honesty and compassion can lead to profound changes in your understanding of yourself and your life. Chapter 9: The Influence of Language. How words shape thoughts, and how thoughts shape words. The relationship between language and cognition dives deep into the very core of human experience. Language isn't just a means of communication. It is a fundamental part of how we think and interpret our world. When we learn new words, we actually expand the way we perceive concepts. For example, the presence of words to describe emotions or situations can enhance our ability to identify and process what we feel or experience. This complex relationship demonstrates that our thoughts are often framed by the words we have at our disposal. When language is lacking, so too can be the clarity of the thought. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis posits that the structure of a language affects its speaker's worldview. It illustrates how different cultures, with their unique languages, perceive the universe in distinct ways. Thus, our capacity for thought is shaped by the linguistic tools we wield, indicating that language and thought are continuously influencing one another. The power of language extends beyond mere description. It plays a crucial role in framing our perspectives. The words we choose can evoke emotions, create imagery, and inspire action. Language can either empower or limit our views of ourselves and the world around us. For instance, using positive language can foster a sense of optimism and possibility, while negative phrasing can trap us in cycles of despair and hopelessness. The media often illustrates this phenomenon, as the framing of news stories can lead to vastly different public perceptions of events. Each choice in rhetoric can steer a conversation, reinforcing certain beliefs while diminishing others. This underscores the immense responsibility that comes with our words. Learning to harness the power of language can transform not only how we express ourselves, but also how we interpret the messages we encounter. By consciously engaging with language, we can reframe our thoughts, shift our perspectives, and ultimately reshape our reality. To navigate this intricate dance between thoughts and words, one practical tip is to cultivate awareness of your language. Pay attention to the words you use in daily conversations and in your inner dialogue. Are they supportive or critical? Do they reflect positivity or negativity? By deliberately choosing empowering and constructive language, you can influence your thought patterns and, by extension, your reality. A simple practice is to rephrase negative self-talk into affirmations. This conscious shift not only alters your internal narrative, but also paves the way for transformative changes in how you approach challenges and opportunities alike. The limitations of language in expressing experience. Language serves as the primary medium through which we connect with one another, yet it can often fall short of encapsulating the breadth of human experience. Words are inherently constrained by their meanings, which can vary dramatically across cultures and contexts. A single term may invoke different feelings or images for one individual compared to another, influenced by personal background, emotional state, or social conditioning. These boundaries become even more apparent when attempting to convey complex emotions, such as grief or awe, where the subtleties and nuances might slip through the cracks of linguistic expression. How does one articulate the visceral sensation of joy, the weight of sorrow, or the immensity of love? They often reside in the realm of the unsayable, leaving us longing for a language that can bridge the gap between thought and experience. Numerous experiences challenge the limits of verbal expression. Take, for example, the profound moments of shared silence between two friends after a loss. These moments speak volumes, even if no words are exchanged. In such instances, the depth of understanding can be fully immersive yet utterly intangible. Similarly, consider the ineffable beauty of a sunset that evokes an overwhelming sense of peace. No description can truly capture that feeling. Instead, it must be felt. Creative endeavors like art, music, and dance often serve as alternatives to language, presenting another layer of expression that transcends words. They evoke emotions and experiences that standard vocabulary cannot adequately convey, allowing us a glimpse into the ineffable regions of the human heart. Recognizing the shortcomings of language can lead to a deeper appreciation of the ways we communicate and connect. Exploring these limitations might encourage us to seek out alternative modes of expression, be it through creativity or deeper forms of listening. Embracing the unspoken and the unsayable can enrich our relationships and provide a broader understanding of ourselves and each other. Perhaps the next time words fail to express what you feel, you might turn to a song, a painting, or even a shared moment of silence, acknowledging that some experiences are simply too vast for language alone. Why changing your vocabulary can change your reality. Language is more than just a means of communication. It shapes our thoughts and influences our perceptions. When we change the words we choose, we engage in a process that can profoundly transform our mental landscape. For example, consider the difference between saying I have to and I choose to. The first phrase evokes a sense of obligation and confinement, while the second conveys empowerment and autonomy. This shift in vocabulary reflects a broader shift in mindset. Research in psychology suggests that the language we use can alter how we experience emotions, make decisions, and understand ourselves and the world around us. By consciously evolving our language, we can reframe our thoughts, challenge limiting beliefs, and open up new possibilities. Our internal dialogue, often formed by our vocabulary, is the lens through which we interpret reality. When we enhance our vocabulary, we begin to notice that our perspective broadens, allowing us to envision paths and solutions that we previously overlooked. Improving one's vocabulary can feel daunting, but it can be achieved through simple, consistent habits. Start by being curious about words. When you encounter a term you don't know, take a moment to look it up. Use apps or websites designed to introduce a word of the day. Try to incorporate this new word into your conversations or writing, so it becomes a part of your active vocabulary. Reading diverse genres exposes you to varied styles of expression and can inspire you to integrate new terms into your repertoire. Writing regularly, whether in a journal or through poetry, allows for experimentation with language and encourages deeper thought. Engaging in discussions with others, particularly those who challenge your perspective, can help expand your vocabulary and deepen your understanding. Importantly, practice mindfulness about the language you use daily. Replace negative words with more uplifting alternatives. This simple act of awareness can elevate your mindset and shift your perception of not just language, but reality itself. Language is a powerful tool at our disposal. Each time you catch yourself using a word that evokes negativity or limitation, pause and ask yourself how you might reframe it. Consider words that inspire, motivate, or embrace abundance instead of lack. This isn't just about sophisticated vocabulary. It's about intentional language that resonates with your true feelings and aspirations. By altering your vocabulary, you not only change how you express your thoughts, but also how you perceive your capabilities and your place in the world. What you tell yourself matters, so make it empowering. Start small, perhaps with one new word a week, and notice how it impacts your daily thoughts and interactions. The words we use daily shape our beliefs and actions. Shift them, and you can shift your reality. Chapter 10. Memory is Fiction. How memory is reconstructed, not recalled. Memory is a fascinating phenomenon, often misunderstood. Most people believe that when they remember an experience, they retrieve a specific recording stored in their brains. The truth, however, is more complex. Memory doesn't function like a video camera that plays back images exactly as they were captured. Instead, it is a reconstructive process. Each time we recall a memory, our brains piece together fragments of information, much like assembling a jigsaw puzzle. This reconstruction is influenced by various factors, including our emotions, prior knowledge, social contexts, and even the questions we are asked about the event. For example, if we recall a childhood birthday party, our memories might draw on photographs, conversations with family, or even stories told over the years. Thus, when remembering, we are not simply accessing a passive storage vault. Instead, we actively recreate our experiences, sometimes leading to distortions and inaccuracies. The understanding of memory as a reconstructive process carries significant implications for personal narratives and the concept of truth. Individuals often construct narratives that reflect their identities and beliefs, shaping how they perceive and relate to their own life stories. This can mean that two people who experience the same event may remember it differently due to differing personal perspectives, biases, or psychological states. When we share our stories, we might also unconsciously alter the details to align with our current values or to make our experiences more impactful. As a result, the notion of a single truth can become complicated. In situations such as legal testimonies or therapy, where accurate recollection is vital, the fallibility of memory poses profound questions. Is someone lying, or are they simply reconstructing their memories based on how they felt at that moment? Recognizing that our memories can be subjective and flexible encourages a greater understanding and compassion for one another's stories. Consider keeping a journal that captures your feelings and observations about experiences as they happen. This practice helps anchor your memory in the present and provides a reference point for the future. By documenting your thoughts and emotions, you create a tangible record that may bridge the gaps in later recollections. This not only enhances your connection to your memories, but also deepens your self-understanding. Over time, you will find that your memories evolve, underpinned by the richness of your written reflections. The distortion of the past through current emotions. Emotions have a profound influence on how we recall and interpret our experiences. When we are happy, for example, our memories tend to shine with a brighter hue, making past events appear more favorable than they actually were. Conversely, during periods of sadness or anger, our recollections can take on a darker, more distorted lens. This variance occurs because our emotional states serve as filters through which we view our memories. Imagine the joy of a long-ago vacation. The sun setting on the horizon and the laughter shared with friends feels timeless. But in a moment of sadness, that same vacation might pale, overshadowed by bitter personal struggles we faced at the time. Thus, the emotional lens we wear can significantly shape not only how we remember past events, but also how we narrate these moments to others. The impact of emotions extends beyond individual memories. It alters our perspectives on historical events and collective narratives. When a nation is gripped by grief or anger, historical events may be interpreted through that emotional turmoil, leading to a skewed perception of facts. For instance, how we view conflicts or pivotal moments in history can be deeply influenced by the prevailing emotions of the time. In societies festering with resentment after a war, narratives may focus on grievances and losses, painting a picture that amplifies division rather than understanding. On the other hand, periods of reconciliation might encourage a more compassionate interpretation of the past, fostering connections where there were once divides. This dynamic reshapes our collective consciousness, influencing how future generations will view these events. Understanding the interplay between emotions and memory can foster a deeper awareness of our perspectives. It invites us to pause and reflect on how our current emotional states might color our interpretations of the past. A useful practice, then, is to engage in reflective journaling whenever we confront strong emotions, particularly in relation to significant past events. By capturing our feelings and thoughts in writing, we can start to disentangle these emotions from our memories, gaining a clearer view of the past while acknowledging the emotional influence that shapes our perspective. Nostalgia, trauma, and the selective storyteller in your head. Memory is not a static vault where experiences are stored as they occurred. Rather, it is a living, evolving entity shaped by our emotions, context, and psychological state. Nostalgia often emerges as a sweet companion, wrapping us in a warm blanket of cherished moments. Yet, intertwined with these pleasant memories are echoes of trauma, casting shadows that can distort our recollections. When we reminisce, it is easy to gravitate towards the comforting fragments of the past while inadvertently brushing aside the more painful episodes. The interplay between nostalgia and trauma reveals that our memories are selective, often prioritizing the joyous over the sorrowful as a means of self-preservation. This distortion, however, can lead to a fractured identity, where we may romanticize our past without fully addressing the hurt that also resides within those memories. Selective memory is a powerful force that shapes our identity. It creates a narrative through which we understand ourselves and our place in the world. The memories we choose to retain or highlight often reflect our values, beliefs, and desires, thus forming an essential part of our personal story. Some may look back and remember their childhood as idyllic and fulfilling, while others may focus more on the challenges they faced. These differing perspectives can lead to contrasting identities, one colored by optimism and the other steeped in survival instincts. This selective storytelling serves not only to protect us from the pain of our past, but also to reinforce a version of ourselves that we find more manageable or acceptable. The selective storyteller in our heads crafts a narrative that helps us navigate the complexities of our experiences, but becomes problematic when it leads us to overlook vital pieces of our past that also deserve acknowledgement and healing. Be mindful of how you reflect on your own experiences. Journaling can be a powerful tool in confronting and processing both nostalgic and traumatic memories. By writing down your thoughts, you can gain clarity on the emotions that surface and how they shape your identity. This practice allows for a deeper understanding of how selective memory influences your self-perception. Acknowledging both the joyous and painful sides of your story is an essential step toward reconciling your past and embracing the full spectrum of your identity. Chapter 11. Thinking in Groups. Groupthink, Tribalism, and Collective Delusion. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs within a cohesive group, where the desire for harmony and conformity leads to irrational or dysfunctional decision-making. When individuals prioritize consensus over critical analysis, they often overlook important information, ignore alternatives, and silence dissenting opinions. This can result in catastrophic outcomes, as seen in historical events ranging from corporate scandals to disastrous military decisions. The ramifications of groupthink extend beyond the immediate context. They can erode trust and integrity within communities and organizations, leading to a culture where questioning and innovation are stifled. As people become entrenched in shared beliefs, they risk losing touch with reality, making it increasingly difficult to recognize and address problems when they arise. Tribalism deeply influences the way we think and make decisions, often blinding us to perspectives outside our own group. This innate human tendency to form close-knit groups based on shared values, backgrounds, or beliefs can create an us versus them mindset. When individuals identify strongly with their tribe, they may become resistant to opposing viewpoints, leading to polarization and conflict. The impact of tribalism is evident in social media environments, where echo chambers amplify like-minded voices while silencing dissent, reinforcing the collective belief systems that group members hold dear. Consequently, tribalism shapes not only how groups make decisions, but also how they interact with the wider world, often resulting in divisive rhetoric that hinders constructive dialogue and cooperation. Understanding the dynamics of groupthink and tribalism invites us to reflect on our own thinking patterns and belief systems. It encourages a commitment to open-mindedness and critical thinking, allowing us to acknowledge and challenge our biases. When we embrace diverse perspectives, we expand the collective intelligence of any group. A practical way to combat the influences of groupthink and tribalism is to cultivate environments that value dissent and constructive criticism. By creating spaces where individuals feel safe to voice their opinions, no matter how unconventional, we foster an atmosphere of innovation and resilience, enabling us to navigate the complexities of our increasingly interconnected world. The rise of social media echo chambers. Social media has transformed the way we communicate, shaping our collective thinking in profound ways. Through platforms that encourage sharing and liking, we often surround ourselves with voices that resonate with our own beliefs and opinions. This selective exposure can lead to a phenomenon where certain ideas and narratives gain traction, becoming amplified within our circles. As users engage with content that harmonizes with their viewpoints, the algorithms driving these platforms further personalize what we see, creating a bubble of information that feels increasingly like reality. Over time, this can solidify a shared mindset among groups, blurring the lines between diverse perspectives and narrowing the scope of discourse. The existence of echo chambers presents significant dangers in how we shape our understanding of reality. When individuals are only exposed to information that conforms to their pre-existing views, critical thinking can decline. This confirmation bias not only reinforces existing beliefs, but also fosters misunderstandings and conflicts when conflicting ideas are encountered. People may become less tolerant of differing opinions and more likely to dismiss them outright, leading to polarizations that inhibit constructive dialogue. In extreme cases, echo chambers can cultivate misinformation and conspiracy theories, causing damage to public trust and societal cohesion. Such environments not only limit personal growth, but also affect collective decision-making, as groups may rally around distorted narratives lacking factual foundation. To combat the effects of echo chambers, one practical approach is to intentionally diversify your social media feeds. Following a variety of sources, including those that challenge your viewpoints, can introduce new ideas and foster a more comprehensive understanding of complex issues. This doesn't mean you have to absorb every opinion uncritically. Rather, it's about creating room for dialogue and critical reflection. Engaging with different perspectives not only sharpens your understanding, but also promotes empathy and better communication in our increasingly polarized world. Crowd psychology and mass persuasion. Crowd psychology delves into how individuals behave differently when they are part of a larger group. The dynamics of a crowd can alter people's emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in profound ways. One key principle is the idea of conformity. When people are in a group, they often look to others for cues on how to act. This tendency can lead to a phenomenon known as de-individuation, where individuals may lose their sense of personal accountability and social responsibility. Under the influence of a crowd, people may engage in behavior they would typically avoid when alone, whether that's participating in a protest, celebrating wildly, or even engaging in acts of aggression. The anonymity that comes with being part of a larger entity can foster feelings of unity or primal instincts that override personal inhibitions. Recognizing the power of crowd psychology and mass persuasion can transform the way we view our environment and interactions. One practical tip to navigate this influence is to cultivate critical thinking skills. By questioning popular opinions and seeking out diverse perspectives, individuals can maintain a sense of autonomy in their beliefs, preventing undue influence from crowd dynamics. Chapter 12: Intelligence, Intuition, and Imagination. Different kinds of intelligence: analytical, creative, emotional. Intelligence is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It is an intricate tapestry woven from various threads of ability and aptitude. Analytical intelligence, often referred to as logical reasoning, is the capacity to dissect problems, analyze information, and draw conclusions based on facts and data. This form of intelligence excels in academic settings, where critical thinking and problem-solving skills are paramount. On the other hand, creative intelligence encompasses the ability to think outside the box, innovate, and express oneself through original ideas and artistic endeavors. Creative thinkers often approach challenges with unique perspectives, fostering invention and artistic expression in myriad forms. Lastly, Emotional intelligence represents the awareness of one's own emotions and the ability to empathize with others. It plays a crucial role in interpersonal relationships, improving communication, and fostering collaboration. Each type of intelligence holds significance not only in professional environments, but also in personal growth and relationships. The interplay between different types of intelligence is where the real magic happens. Analytical, creative, and emotional intelligences complement each other, forming a holistic approach to problem-solving and life challenges. For example, a highly analytical person may excel at developing data-driven strategies in the workplace, but could struggle with team dynamics and empathy. Here, emotional intelligence becomes vital. Understanding colleagues' feelings and motivations can enhance collaboration and lead to more effective outcomes. Meanwhile, someone with strong creative intelligence brings innovative solutions to the table, but their ideas may require analytical skills to implement effectively. When individuals leverage their strengths while acknowledging areas for growth, they create an environment where diverse intelligences can flourish together. Recognizing these synergies allows for richer experiences and improved outcomes, nurturing a culture of respect and shared success. Embracing the diversity of intelligence types can transform how we view ourselves and others. Rather than focusing solely on academic or logical abilities, acknowledging emotional and creative intelligences promotes a more inclusive understanding of capabilities. This transformation starts with self-awareness. By identifying our dominant intelligences, we can cultivate areas where we may feel less confident. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who possess varying strengths can encourage personal development and inspire new ways of thinking. To harness the power of different intelligences, consider collaborating with people who complement your skills. Engage in discussions that challenge your perspectives or explore creative processes that push the boundaries of your existing knowledge. By valuing all forms of intelligence, we open the door to richer experiences and deeper connections in our lives. Intuition is rapid pattern recognition, not magic. Intuitive thinking is often dismissed as a whimsical or mystical ability, but in reality, it is grounded in cognitive processes that allow our brains to recognize patterns quickly. When faced with a decision or a problem, our minds sift through vast amounts of information, drawing from both past experiences and learned knowledge in a matter of seconds. This rapid processing is not magic. It's an innate capability of the human brain developed through evolutionary survival. Cognitive psychologists explain this phenomenon through concepts such as heuristics and schemas, which enable us to make quick judgments based on limited information. Our minds are wired to spot connections and narratives, making intuitive leaps that can feel like just knowing something without a clear rationale behind it. Experience plays a pivotal role in honing our intuition, transforming it from a vague sense of knowing into a reliable guide. Over time, as we encounter various situations and navigate through them, we build a repository of knowledge that informs our intuitive judgments. For instance, a seasoned firefighter might intuitively sense the danger of a structure collapse based on subtle cues that an inexperienced individual might overlook. Each situation contributes to their mental map, allowing them to make split-second decisions that can mean the difference between safety and disaster. This is the essence of expertise, a finely tuned ability to respond to familiar patterns with swift confidence. Engaging with a variety of experiences, reflecting on those moments, and learning from both successes and failures can significantly enhance this intuitive ability. To cultivate your intuition, it helps to embrace reflective practices. After experiencing a significant decision or event, take a moment to think about what led to your conclusions. What prior knowledge influenced your instincts? How did your past experiences shape your understanding? By consciously examining your thought processes, you can strengthen your intuitive skills and make them more robust. The next time you encounter a challenge, trust that your brain is working at a deeper level, integrating countless pieces of information and leading you toward a choice that feels right. Remember that intuition is not a mystical gift, but a skill that can be nurtured through awareness, experience, and reflection. The role of imagination in problem-solving and innovation. Imagination serves as the spark that ignites creative solutions, allowing individuals to think beyond the confines of their current reality. It pushes the boundaries of what is known and invites exploration into uncharted territories of thought. When faced with complex problems, imagination enables us to envision multiple scenarios, assess potential outcomes, and likely uncover answers that may not be apparent through analytical thinking alone. Consider a scientist grappling with a mysterious phenomenon. The ability to picture untested hypotheses or visualize intricate molecular structures can lead to groundbreaking discoveries. Through collaboration, diverse perspectives can further enrich this imaginative process, enabling us to merge distinct ideas and concepts into something entirely new, a fusion that can often lead to innovative solutions. The importance of imagination in innovation cannot be overstated. Innovative breakthroughs often stem from the ability to imagine what could be rather than what currently exists. The great thinkers and inventors throughout history, from Leonardo da Vinci to Steve Jobs, have not merely been problem solvers. They were dreamers who envisioned a reality different from their own. This forward-thinking approach has led to the creation of products, practices, and technologies that fundamentally alter the way we live. Imagination challenges the status quo, daring us to reject limitations and redefine possibilities. By fostering an imaginative mindset, we cultivate an environment ripe for innovation where ideas flourish and transformations occur. A practical approach to enhancing imagination involves engaging in activities that stretch our thinking. This can include brainstorming sessions, journal writing, or even daydreaming with intent. Taking time to reflect on challenges while allowing the mind to wander can yield unexpected insights. Incorporating playfulness into our routines, such as through art or games that require strategic thinking, also stimulates creative problem-solving. By actively nurturing our imagination, we open doors to new perspectives and possibilities that can significantly impact our problem-solving capabilities and drive lasting innovation. Chapter 13: How People Change Their Minds or Don't. Cognitive dissonance and belief resilience. Cognitive dissonance occurs when our beliefs, values, or attitudes conflict with one another, creating a sense of mental discomfort. This phenomenon significantly influences belief systems by forcing individuals to confront inconsistencies between what they know and what they feel. For example, if a person who values health continues to eat junk food, the dissonance between their behavior and their belief about health can lead to feelings of guilt or anxiety. To alleviate this discomfort, people often modify their beliefs or behaviors, rationalize their actions, or seek information that aligns with their current views. As a result, cognitive dissonance serves as a powerful catalyst for change, encouraging a reevaluation of beliefs and potentially fostering personal growth or the reinforcement of existing views. Understanding cognitive dissonance and the role of cognitive biases in our thought processes can be transformative. Recognizing these patterns in yourself provides the opportunity to question your beliefs more critically. As you navigate the complexities of your own belief systems, consider embracing discomfort as a pathway to enlightenment. By allowing yourself to entertain opposing viewpoints or information that challenges your understanding, you cultivate resilience in your beliefs. This practice not only enhances personal insight, but also fosters greater empathy toward others who may hold different perspectives. The backfire effect. Why facts don't always change opinions. The backfire effect is a powerful psychological phenomenon that reveals how our beliefs can actually become more entrenched when confronted with contradictory information. This occurrence is not just a quirky feature of human psychology. It has significant implications for anyone who seeks to persuade others. When facts are presented to challenge someone's deeply held beliefs, instead of becoming open to change, individuals may reaffirm their original stance with even more vigor. Imagine a staunch supporter of a political ideology who, when faced with factual evidence that contradicts their views, reacts not by reconsidering the evidence, but by doubling down on their position. This response underscores the complex interactions of cognition and emotion, illustrating that merely presenting facts is insufficient to sway opinions. Changing deeply held beliefs is fraught with challenges. Our beliefs often serve as a lens through which we interpret the world, providing a sense of identity and security. Therefore, when someone is confronted with information that threatens their worldview, defensive mechanisms kick in. This is particularly evident in topics like politics, religion, and social issues, where emotions run high. A common reaction involves rationalizing the information away, labeling it as biased, or attributing it to ulterior motives of the presenter. The challenge lies not only in the stubbornness of these beliefs, but also in the social dynamics surrounding them. People tend to surround themselves with like-minded individuals, creating echo chambers that reinforce their existing views. This environment leads to a cycle where challenging one's beliefs elicits strong resistance, making it incredibly difficult to foster productive dialogues. To effectively engage with those who hold differing opinions, it's essential to approach conversations with empathy and understanding. Instead of directly confronting their beliefs with facts, try to find common ground. Share personal experiences or stories that resonate on an emotional level, as narratives can often be more persuasive than statistics alone. Ask open-ended questions to encourage reflection and self-exploration, allowing individuals to weigh their beliefs against new information in a safe space. By shifting the focus from winning an argument to fostering a dialogue, you can create the conditions necessary for genuine understanding and potentially transformative change. Remember, changing minds is often a gradual process that requires patience and an appreciation for the complexities of human thought. The psychology of awakening and transformation. Personal awakening is often described as a moment when we begin to see ourselves and the world with new eyes. It involves a profound realization that pushes us beyond our everyday routines and societal expectations. This journey of growth typically starts with a small spark, perhaps an insight, a conversation, or even a challenge that forces us to rethink our beliefs. These initial experiences can feel unsettling, like a jolt that disrupts the status quo. However, through embracing this discomfort, we often end up uncovering hidden parts of ourselves, leading to a greater sense of clarity and purpose. As we question our perceptions, we engage in an ongoing dialogue with ourselves, which not only fosters self-awareness, but also cultivates resilience against life's inevitable trials. Transformative experiences have the power to shift how we think about ourselves and the world around us. When something profoundly changes our perspective, an intense emotional experience, a loss, or a major life shift, we often reassess our values and priorities. For instance, someone who undergoes a life-altering event may start to prioritize relationships over material success, realizing that tangible achievements offer little satisfaction in comparison to meaningful connections. This shift in thinking can be both liberating and challenging. It demands that we let go of outdated beliefs and embrace a new identity. As we navigate this transformation, our thought patterns begin to align with our authentic selves, allowing us to lead lives that resonate deeply with who we truly are. Recognizing the signs of awakening and transformation can be the first step in harnessing their power. Take time for reflection, ask yourself what resonates with your core values, and be open to changing your approach to life. This journey is inherently personal, yet universally transformative, leading you to a place where you can fully inhabit your truth. Chapter 14. Mind Architecture, Building Better Thoughts. Metacognition, Thinking About Thinking. Metacognition refers to the awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes. It is often described as thinking about thinking. This concept allows individuals to monitor and control their cognitive activities, aiding in problem-solving and learning. The importance of metacognition in self-regulation cannot be overstated. Self-regulation involves setting goals, tracking progress, and adjusting one's strategies and tactics as needed. Being metacognitive means you are not just passively absorbing information. Instead, you actively engage with your thinking and learning processes, which helps you make better decisions and develop a deeper understanding of the material. There are several strategies to enhance metacognitive skills that anyone can adopt. One effective method is self-questioning, where individuals ask themselves questions about what they are learning, how they are learning it, and whether they understand it fully. Keeping a learning journal can also be transformative. It encourages reflection on what worked, what didn't, and why. Additionally, teaching others what you've learned can significantly deepen your understanding and promote metacognitive awareness. Setting specific learning goals, regularly assessing your own progress, and being open to modifying your approach based on feedback or results are other useful strategies. These practices create a feedback loop that enhances both awareness and control over one's learning process. Incorporating metacognitive strategies into daily life can lead to significant improvements in personal and professional pursuits. For example, before starting a new task, take a moment to think about what you know regarding the subject at hand and identify potential challenges you might face. After completing a task, reflect on what strategies were effective and what could be improved next time. This habit of self-reflection not only enriches learning experiences, but also fosters a lifelong love for learning and growth. Tools to sharpen awareness and question assumptions. Increasing self-awareness is an essential journey that allows individuals to understand themselves at a deeper level. Practical tools can facilitate this process, enabling an exploration of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. One effective method to enhance self-awareness is through mindfulness practices. Engaging in mindfulness meditation encourages individuals to focus on the present moment, fostering a greater connection to their inner thoughts and emotions without judgment. Journaling serves as another valuable tool, allowing people to articulate their thoughts and feelings on paper. This act of writing not only clarifies internal dialogues, but also unveils patterns in thinking that may otherwise remain unnoticed. Reflective questioning is yet another technique that can be employed. By regularly asking oneself probing questions such as, "Why do I feel this way?" or "What assumptions am I making?" individuals can uncover layers of their identity and motivations. Challenging assumptions plays a pivotal role in personal growth and transformation. Assumptions often act as invisible barriers that limit our potential and narrow our perspective of what is possible. When individuals allow themselves to question these assumptions, they open doors to new understandings and opportunities. For instance, a common assumption might be that one is not skilled enough to pursue a desired career. By reflecting on the basis of this belief and seeking evidence to the contrary, individuals might discover hidden talents or past achievements that were overlooked. Engaging in conversations with diverse groups can further highlight the validity of alternative viewpoints, fostering empathy and broadening one's perspective. In a world filled with complexities, recognizing that our assumptions are not absolute truths can be liberating, prompting a profound shift in behavior, perspectives, and relationships. Practicing these tools requires time and patience, yet the reward of heightened awareness and a more questioning mind can lead to transformative experiences. A simple yet powerful tip for applying these techniques is to dedicate just a few minutes daily to self-reflection. This practice can be done through meditation, journaling, or even a quiet stroll in nature. By intentionally taking this time, individuals cultivate a habit of introspection and openness to new insights, arming themselves with greater self-awareness and a willingness to challenge existing assumptions. The practice of mental flexibility and perspective shifting. Cognitive flexibility is like having a mental toolkit that allows us to approach problems from various angles. This skill not only enhances our creativity, but also improves our ability to adapt to new information and circumstances. When faced with challenges, individuals who exhibit cognitive flexibility can shift their thinking to explore different solutions instead of getting stuck in a single mindset. For instance, a person dealing with a workplace conflict can benefit greatly from viewing the situation through the eyes of their colleagues, grasping the underlying emotions and motivations involved. This broadened perspective can lead to more effective resolutions and foster collaboration. The true power of flexibility shines through in times of uncertainty or change. A flexible thinker can reevaluate their assumptions and pivot their strategies as needed, which is particularly valuable in dynamic environments like the workplace. Businesses and teams that encourage cognitive flexibility often find that their members can respond to setbacks with a renewed sense of optimism, finding innovative ways to navigate obstacles. This adaptability is not just beneficial for organizational settings. It transcends to daily life, enabling individuals to handle stressors with grace, leading to better decision-making and emotional well-being. Adopting different perspectives is a practice that can be developed with intention. One effective method is to engage in active listening, where we consciously focus on understanding the viewpoints of others without immediately formulating a response. This deepens our empathy and allows us to appreciate the complexities of human experience. Another strategy is to seek diverse experiences. Traveling to new places, interacting with people from different cultures, or even reading literature outside our usual preferences can challenge our existing thought patterns and inspire fresh insights. As a practical tip, consider adopting a daily habit of asking yourself 2 questions. What would someone else think about this situation? And how might I solve this problem if I were in a different role? This simple exercise can help cultivate a more flexible mindset and deepen your ability to think critically from multiple angles. Chapter 15. How to think clearly in a noisy world. Attention as currency in the age of distraction. In today's fast-paced world, attention has become the most valuable currency we possess. As technology advances and information floods our daily lives, our capacity to concentrate has diminished. Distractions are omnipresent, demanding our focus at every turn. Notifications ping incessantly, social media beckons, and advertising bombards us, all vying for a piece of our attention. This constant barrage not only fragments our thoughts, but also detracts from our ability to engage deeply with people, tasks, and ideas. In many ways, the act of maintaining focus has become a superpower. The few who can shield their attention from this onslaught emerge more productive, more empathetic, and ultimately more fulfilled. Recognizing attention as a scarce resource empowers us to reclaim our agency in a world that rarely sleeps. To cultivate focus amidst this chaos, we need intentional strategies that allow us to prioritize what truly matters. One approach involves establishing boundaries around our time and attention. Designating specific periods for uninterrupted work can help create mental clarity. During these times, silencing notifications and creating a distraction-free zone can work wonders. Another effective method is the principle of single tasking, where we commit to one task at a time instead of succumbing to the temptation of multitasking. This practice not only enhances our efficiency, but also fosters a greater sense of accomplishment. Additionally, incorporating mindfulness techniques can ground us, enabling us to become more aware of our attention and redirect it when it strays. Mindfulness practices like meditation can enhance our cognitive control, allowing us to navigate distractions with more resilience. Making small shifts in how we view our attention can lead to transformative changes in our lives. Understanding that attention, much like money, must be spent wisely encourages us to engage with our surroundings in a more meaningful way. By consciously choosing how we allocate our focus each day, we can create a life that reflects our values and desires. Begin by identifying the activities and people that enrich your life and funnel your attention there. This simple yet powerful practice can lead to incredible results, enhancing both personal and professional fulfillment. Remember, in a world filled with distractions, cultivating attention is not just beneficial, it's essential. Mental clutter versus clarity. Mental clutter is like a fog that obscures our thoughts, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions. It encompasses the overwhelming thoughts, worries, and distractions that crowd our minds, often leaving us feeling drained and scatterbrained. This mental chaos can stem from various sources, including stress, information overload, and a lack of organization in our daily lives. When we are besieged by mental clutter, our ability to focus diminishes, reducing our efficiency and creativity. It can lead to indecision, anxiety, and even a sense of being paralyzed by the sheer volume of tasks or problems we face. Understanding the detrimental effects of this mental clutter is the first step towards reclaiming our cognitive space and enhancing our overall well-being. Achieving mental clarity requires intentional strategies that help us cut through the noise and regain focus. One effective method is to practice mindfulness, which encourages us to stay present and aware of our thoughts without judgment. This practice can help us observe our cluttered thoughts, allowing them to drift away rather than holding on to them. Another helpful approach is to create a designated time for reflection and planning, during which we can sort through our tasks, setting priorities, and breaking them down into manageable steps. Journaling can also play a significant role in clearing mental space by allowing us to externalize thoughts that weigh heavily on our minds. Furthermore, decluttering our physical environment has a positive ripple effect on our mental state. A tidy space often leads to a tidy mind. Even simple changes, such as limiting our exposure to digital distractions or practicing deep breathing techniques, can gradually facilitate a clearer mindset. Consider setting aside just a few minutes each day for a focused breathing exercise or a short walk in nature. These simple activities can reset your mental space, helping you cultivate a sense of clarity and calm amidst the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Creating internal stillness and focus in chaos. Mindfulness is not just a trendy buzzword. It's a deeply transformative practice that invites us to cultivate internal stillness even amidst chaos. Adopting practices like focused breathing can serve as an anchor in our frantic world. When you take a moment to breathe deeply, allowing your abdomen to expand and contract, your mind has a chance to quiet down, creating a small oasis of calm within. Engaging in body scans, where you mentally assess each part of your body from head to toe, can also help shift your focus inward, grounding you in the present moment and away from external upheaval. Observing your thoughts without judgment can further enhance this stillness. It's about acknowledging the noise around you and allowing it to exist without letting it dictate your peace. Incorporating small rituals, such as a few minutes of meditation or mindful walking, can establish a habit of stillness, making it easier to access when the world begins to feel overwhelming. Internal stillness isn't merely the absence of noise, it enhances clarity of thought in powerful ways. When the mind is quiet, it opens up a space where ideas can flow freely. The chaos of daily life often leads to mental clutter, making decision-making a labyrinthine process. However, when you carve out moments of stillness, you create a mental environment where insights can emerge effortlessly. This clarity allows you to evaluate challenges more rationally, explore creative solutions, and tap into your intuition more fully. In states of calm, the complex webs of our thoughts unravel, revealing pathways that may have been obscured by anxiety or distractions. This mental clarity can lead to more effective problem-solving, greater emotional intelligence, and a strengthened ability to respond rather than react in stressful situations. Practicing internal stillness offers the most profound benefits not only for individual mindfulness, but also for your overall mental health. You might start by setting aside a few minutes each day to practice these techniques. Ensure that you create an environment conducive to stillness, free from distractions, and aligned with your personal comfort. Embrace the process, allowing yourself to be fully present with each moment. The chaos around you may remain, but by establishing a practice of mindfulness and pursuing the tranquility within, you may find that your perspective shifts, making the external turmoil easier to navigate. Consider keeping a journal to track your thoughts and feelings as you develop this practice. It will provide valuable insights into your journey towards internal peace and clarity. Chapter 16: Thought, Reality, and Creation. The Mind as a Meaning Maker. The mind has an incredible ability to transform raw experiences into a tapestry of meaning. Every moment we face, from mundane routines to extraordinary events, is processed through the lens of our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. For example, the way we interpret a compliment can vary widely based on our self-esteem and past experiences. A simple "you did a great job" might affirm our abilities or, conversely, trigger doubts if we struggle with skepticism about our worth. This process is not passive. Instead, it engages our memories, our understanding of context, and our emotional responses to create a personalized narrative. The mind stitches together these threads into a coherent story, allowing us to derive lessons, emotions, and connections from our interactions with the world. Being an active participant in this meaning-making process has profound implications for our lives. When we recognize that we have the power to shape our perceptions, we unlock the potential to change our narratives. This agency means we can cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. If something negative happens, we can choose to reframe it as a learning experience rather than an insurmountable setback. The stories we tell ourselves can be empowering or debilitating, and understanding their impact allows us to steer our lives in a direction that enhances our well-being. Engaging with our thoughts and emotions deliberately can facilitate growth, foster connections, and even reshape our identity. By actively choosing how we respond to events, we can enhance our interactions, find deeper meanings in our experiences, and ultimately define a richer, more fulfilling existence. Embracing the role of meaning maker invites exploration and curiosity. A practical tip to harness this power is to practice reflection. Set aside time regularly to contemplate significant events in your life. Ask yourself questions about what you learned, how you felt, and how those experiences can inform your future actions. This practice not only clarifies your thoughts, but also deepens your understanding of yourself and promotes a more intentional approach to your life's meaning. How thoughts influence behavior, relationships, and identity. Thoughts are the invisible threads that weave together our actions and behaviors. They act as powerful catalysts, influencing the decisions we make and the paths we choose. Every action starts with a thought. It is this mental process that forms our perceptions of reality. When we think positively, we often act in ways that reflect that optimism, leading to more constructive behaviors. Conversely, negative thoughts can trap us in a cycle of unproductive actions where fear and doubt dictate our choices. Understanding this interconnectedness is vital, as it empowers us to sift through our thought patterns and adjust them consciously. By replacing limiting beliefs with empowering thoughts, we can reshape our actions and create a reality that aligns more closely with our true desires and aspirations. The impact of our thoughts extends well beyond individual behavior. They play a crucial role in how we relate to others. Our thoughts color our interpretations of social interactions and affect our emotional responses. For instance, if we constantly think that we are unworthy of love, we may struggle to form meaningful connections. This belief can manifest as withdrawal or defensive behavior, pushing others away and reinforcing our isolation. On the other hand, fostering positive thoughts about ourselves and those around us can enhance our relationships, encouraging open communication and mutual respect. It creates a ripple effect, deepening our bonds and inviting more understanding and empathy into our lives. When we rethink our internal narrative to focus on connection rather than fear, the potential for deeper, more fulfilling relationships becomes limitless. Your thoughts are not just personal musings, they are the building blocks of your identity. The way you perceive yourself and your role in the world is a reflection of your inner dialogue. By becoming aware of the patterns in your thinking, you can identify how they shape your self-image. If your thoughts are based on criticism and self-doubt, you'll likely feel inadequate or stuck. However, by intentionally nurturing a mindset centered on growth and possibility, you can redefine who you are. It's important to engage in practices that promote positive thinking, such as gratitude and mindfulness, which can transform your self-perception and encourage resilience. Remember, the journey of self-discovery and improvement starts in your mind, and every small shift in thought can lead to significant changes in how you behave, connect with others, and ultimately define yourself. Thought is a tool for creating the world around you. Conscious thought possesses a transformative power that is often underestimated. Every thought, whether positive or negative, carries energy that contributes to our personal experience of reality. When we become aware of our thought patterns, we empower ourselves to reshape our existence. Engaging in intentional thinking allows us to dismantle self-imposed limitations, creating pathways for growth and opportunity. Each moment serves as a canvas, and our thoughts act as the brushes that help paint our experiences. When we consciously direct our thoughts toward aspirations and possibilities, we catalyze change not only within ourselves, but also in our interactions with the world around us. Mindsets play a pivotal role in shaping both personal and communal realities. The way we perceive ourselves and others creates a ripple effect, influencing our relationships and society at large. When we foster a positive mindset, we encourage collaboration, understanding, and empathy within our communities. Conversely, a negative mindset can foster division and conflict. Society reflects the collective thoughts and beliefs of its individuals. As we cultivate a mindset rooted in possibility and support, we contribute to a more positive community experience, reinforcing a cycle of constructive thought and action. The shift from individual thoughts to collective beliefs illustrates how each person's mindset can serve as a powerful tool for societal transformation. As you navigate through your day, take a moment to consciously reflect on your thoughts. Consider how they shape your reality and the world around you. Are your thoughts aligned with the outcomes you desire? By practicing mindfulness and redirecting your mental energy toward what you want rather than what you fear, you can begin to witness the profound impact of your thoughts. Start small. Perhaps set an intention each morning to foster an uplifting mindset and observe the changes that unfold throughout your day. Conclusion: the power and responsibility of thought. Why self-awareness is the greatest freedom. Self-awareness brings an extraordinary liberation to our thought processes. When we become conscious of our own thoughts, feelings, and motivations, we step out of the automatic pilot mode where reactions are dictated by habit or external influences. Instead, we start to observe our mental patterns. This observation is akin to stepping into a spacious room filled with light. We can finally see all the clutter that has been holding us back. By recognizing how our emotions and thoughts shape our perceptions, we take the first steps towards transforming them. Liberation comes when we realize that thoughts are not facts. Understanding this distinction allows us to experience a more nuanced approach to life, where we can challenge negative beliefs rather than blindly accept them. We become aware of the triggers that lead us down negative thought spirals or self-doubt, empowering us to break free from cycles that once felt inescapable. The connection between awareness and personal agency is profound. When you are aware of your thoughts and feelings, you gain control over them. Self-awareness fuels your ability to make conscious choices rather than reactive decisions. Imagine being in a heated argument. If you are aware of your emotional response, you can choose not to lash out or escalate the situation. This sense of agency is invaluable because it allows you to navigate not just interpersonal relationships, but life events with greater intentionality. When faced with challenges, awareness helps you assess the situation fairly, weigh your options, and decide on a response that aligns with your values. The more aware you are of your inner workings, the more empowered you become to shape your own life narrative, walking confidently in the direction of choices that resonate with who you truly are. Self-awareness is transformative. It empowers you to break free from limiting beliefs and unhelpful patterns. Start by taking a moment each day to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. Journaling can be a particularly powerful tool to enhance self-awareness. By writing down your thoughts, you can begin to identify recurring themes and patterns in your life, paving the way for deeper understanding. The simple act of turning your inward gaze towards your mind and heart is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, leading to an enriched life filled with purpose and authenticity. You are not your thoughts, but you are their architect. Understanding the distinction between self and thought is crucial for anyone on a journey of personal growth. Our thoughts often feel so intimately tied to our identity that it can be easy to assume they define who we are. However, the realization that we are not our thoughts opens a world of possibilities. Thoughts are like the clouds that drift across the sky of our mind. They come and go, swirling with a mix of emotions, experiences, and beliefs. Identifying with these transient thoughts can lead to confusion, anxiety, or a sense of inadequacy. Recognizing that there is a part of you that observes these thoughts without judgment provides a powerful shift in perspective. You can cultivate awareness and watch these thoughts as they arise, understanding that they are not absolute truths, but rather narratives shaped by various influences over time. With this newfound awareness comes the profound responsibility of shaping your mental landscape. Just like an architect designs a building, you can design your mental space. This means actively choosing which thoughts to entertain and which to let go. It involves examining your recurring thoughts, especially the negative or limiting ones that may have taken root. Are they serving you, or are they hindrances? By engaging in practices like mindfulness and self-reflection, you begin to survey the territory of your mind. Are there structures of doubt and fear cluttering your landscape? Or perhaps there are pillars of confidence just waiting to be strengthened. The ability to reshape your thoughts requires effort, but it is empowering to know that you hold the blueprints. As you consciously decide to cultivate positive thoughts and beliefs, you can start to transform the entire environment in which your mind operates. Every thought architect begins with a simple yet powerful tool: awareness. Take moments throughout your day to check in with your thoughts. When a negative thought arises, instead of accepting it as truth, pause and question its validity. You might say to yourself, "Is this really true? What evidence do I have to support or dispute this?" By reframing your interactions with your thoughts, you create space for more constructive ideas to take root. Over time, this practice will cultivate a richer, more vibrant mental landscape, allowing you to thrive in your understanding of self and the world around you. A challenge: don't just learn how people think, learn how to think better. Many of us often glide through life without fully understanding how our thoughts shape our perspectives. Engaging with our thinking processes is the key to unlocking a more profound understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Instead of passively absorbing information, we ought to question our beliefs, analyze our biases, and examine the roots of our thoughts. This process requires a curious mindset, inviting us to navigate the labyrinth of our own cognition. By learning to ask ourselves pivotal questions, we not only clarify our own thinking, but also enhance our ability to connect with others, fostering more meaningful interactions. Each thought we entertain offers a window into our values, emotions, and experiences, and dissecting these thoughts reveals the layers that influence our decisions and actions. To promote this journey of continuous self-improvement, we must embrace mindful thinking. Mindfulness invites us to observe our thoughts without judgment, cultivating an awareness that fuels personal growth. It encourages us to reflect on our reactions in various situations and to understand how our emotional responses can cloud our judgment. By acknowledging and regulating our thought patterns, we can break free from automatic, habitual thinking and approach challenges with fresh perspectives. This mindful practice is transformative. It empowers us to replace unhelpful habits with constructive thought processes, ultimately leading us toward greater clarity and insight in our lives. Consider setting aside a few minutes each day for self-reflection. This could involve journaling about your thoughts and feelings, or simply sitting in silence and observing your mental chatter. As you become more attuned to your thinking patterns, you'll discover how to steer your mind towards healthier, more productive thoughts. This practice cultivates not only self-awareness, but also equips you with the tools needed to confront challenges with confidence and creativity. You've just finished How People Think, written and published by Mindful Literary. By now, you've seen just how layered and fascinating the mind really is, how easily it can be tricked, how deeply it's shaped by others, and how profoundly it can be transformed once you understand its mechanics. The truth is, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them, the one who can rewire them, the architect of your inner world. So take what you've learned and begin using it, not to judge yourself, but to free yourself. Question with curiosity. Think with intention. And never forget, clear thinking is a revolutionary act. Because when you master your mind, you master your life. Thank you for listening.